recently designed this timber frame sawhorse. Now, of course, you can buy an inexpensive set of sawhorses right off the shelf that will get you up and running, but this is a real work of art. It is a very rugged and durable sawhorse. A unique feature of this sawhorse is that it is all wedged together. That allows you to very quickly break it down at the end of a job and load the individual pieces into a truck to transport them to the next location.
We're currently actually standing in the timber frame that we cut and raised for our purely post and beam class. This is more of a small, manageable project, a good way to practice and hone your skills, and it also gives you a nice rugged tool to use if you were to do a larger post and beam project.
If you miscut one of these beams, it's not a big deal. If you miscut one of these beams, it's a big deal. All right, so we've completed cutting all of the parts of the sawhorse and we're ready to walk through the assembly and disassembly. Shall we get busy putting the sawhorse together? I can't wait to take it for a ride.
No.
Giddy up.
Cut. I mean, do you want to say something that's like that, but not so weird? Like.
All right, Gabe, should we get together? Should we get together this weekend? All right, Gabe, what do you say we put this sawhorse together?
Let's do it.
So we'll start by getting the feet relatively close, and then we are going to plant the legs into the feet. Just want to make sure that the orientation of the leg is correct. You can see our model right here. Notice that the brace is a little bit closer to the bottom of the leg. So we're going to put the bottom into the foot. Evidently, I did the joinery on this piece. It's a little bit tighter.
I pushed down really hard. I'm going to push that one down.
Yes, please, Mr. Big Hands. Hang on, I've got something to help.
Ooh.
This little mallet is one that we use quite often when we're timber framing. It is fantastic because it has this soft surface. It's a urethane. on both ends, so you're much less likely to damage the wood as you're using it. All right, the next step is to grab the brace. We'll insert the brace into one leg and foot assembly, and then we'll walk the other leg and foot assembly onto the open tenon of the brace. That is a nice tight fit. And the last step is to drop the top on. All right, now that we're fully assembled, we can drive the wedges and lock it together. So you'll remember from Gabe's demo on cutting the wedges that there is a taper on one side, this surface here, flat on the other. It doesn't particularly matter which way you install the wedge. Obviously, you just want it to be tight. Those are nice. All right, all of those were single wedges, just one per installation. On the end here, where we have this sort of tying joint detail, the wedges are gonna work together against each other to pull tight. So it's a good idea to just get them oriented so that you have straight edge, and the two tapers are facing each other. And then you can install them that way. Because again, we're trying to get the wedges to pull the Sawhorse tight and lock it together. When you're installing the wedges, there's an expression that you should remember: no sledge on the wedge. You don't need to drive those super hard, right? The idea with the wedge is that it's just pulling things so that they're just touching. You can see here I've got a little bit of a gap, so we could probably tighten up my side a little bit. But the idea here is that this is something you want to be able to take apart, put together, take apart multiple times. If you overdrive the wedges every time, there's a possibility that you could damage the wood grain. And this bit of wood here beyond the wedge, it's very easy to see here, is called the relish. And we want to respect the relish by not overdriving the wedges. This one is quite robust, but here and here, there is much less relish because the tenon is quite a bit shorter. So you want to make sure you're not overdriving these in particular. And the reality is you don't need them to be very tight, right? Obviously we have gravity holding the top down, and there isn't anything actively pulling the Sawhorse apart. So you can give that a couple of taps with a hammer, but you definitely don't want to drive it with a sledge.
No sledge.
No sledge on the wedge.
And respect the relish.
And respect the relish. R&R. A couple things to keep in mind. One is that this Sawhorse is heavy. There's no question about it. It is challenging for the average man to pick it up. I have no trouble picking it up and moving it around comfortably. But one of the things we love about this Sawhorse is its weight. There is nothing more frustrating and annoying on the job site than bumping into your Sawhorse with a 2x4 and having it just fall over. That's not going to happen with this. It's also very rigid, so you can push sideways on it and not worry about breaking anything or, again, tipping the Sawhorse over.
And put a lot of weight on it.
You can put a lot of weight on this. A lot of weight.
A lot of weight.
Lot of weight.
Tons.
Tons of weight.
Can we say that?
You can say that. You
Tons.
could put tons on here.
With tons of weight on here.
You can put tons of weight on this.
He's an engineer.
And I'm an engineer. Tons.
So we used dimensional 6x6 Eastern white pine for this project. It's really nice wood to work with, and you really might want to consider that. It's a very easy wood to learn on. There are endless options for species you could use for this, though, other than pine. You've talked so much about the benefits of how collapsible it is. Why don't we show them how to disassemble?
Beautiful. Let's collapse it.
I say we start at the top. These top skinny wedges will be the easiest to drive out with this non-sledge. And then these we can actually use to start undriving these wedges out of the feet. course, this set here doesn't take much to knock those loose.
I seem to recall that this side was a little looser. Nice work, Gabe.
That came apart nice and easy.
Sure did. So you can see it literally takes less than a minute to put the sawhorse together and take it apart. So it's an easy thing to do. If you have it set up in your garage and all of a sudden you need more space, you can just knock it down, put the individual pieces in the corner, and you're all set. If you're interested in timber framing or thinking about building your own timber frame, but you're not quite ready, we have a fantastic course for you. Using just two 6x6x10s, we introduce you to the art of timber framing. In this course, we cover all of the aspects from layout, marking, hand sawing, cutting, and refining all of your joinery. This is a great project because it's not a big commitment on your part, just a few hand tools and a minor investment in timber. And in the end, you get a great, robust pair of sawhorses, which will be a tremendous benefit to you when you do actually get to building your timber frame. If you're ready to get started, click the link below and we hope to see you in our online course.